From WFRV Local 5, your local election headquarters, this is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. We can count on one hand now the days before the midterm elections. 2 days to go, and with all eyes mainly on the two major races, governor and U.S. Senate, voters in Menasha, however, they'll be deciding one of the biggest referendum questions in our area. And to that point, joining me this morning to talk about that referendum is Menasha School Superintendent Chris Vanderheiden and the district's business manager, Brian Adesso. Gents, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Much appreciated. Right off the top, how much money are we talking here with this referendum? What are we asking for?
So the referendum is 99.7, and that's to build an entirely new building on the current site of our Maplewood Middle School. That number obviously wasn't arrived at lightly. That's a big number for us. So.
Yeah, what are the main items that specifically this money is going to go for, provided it passes?
Sure. So the main things will be this building, along with the geothermal heating and cooling system that goes with it. It'll also cover the preparation of the property for the building. It will cover the raising of the existing school.
Okay, you say this building.
The new building.
This is the Maplewood Middle School.
Well, this would be the new Maplewood Middle School.
The new Maplewood, okay.
So it'll be a new building on that site. The existing Maplewood Middle School would be taken down and removed, so that's part of the cost as well. And then re-establishing that area as play field and phy-ed fields for our kids for their classes.
What's the why behind this? Why are we doing this, raising one school, building up a new school?
Sure. So the why goes back a little bit. I'll give you the short version of this. So we've been meeting for about a year and a half with our committee, visioning what our Menasha School is going to look like as we move down the road. And that group of parents, community members, teachers looked at our demographics, looked at our enrollments, considered what we did 10 years ago with our high school, and decided that our next move is to address our middle school. And the decision from that group, again, short version, was to go with a 5-8 facility with 5-6 being separated from 7-8, and then that will feed into a third phase of our facility plan.
So what kind of features do you envision for this new school as opposed to what you have now? First of all, how long have you had the current school?
So Maplewood is currently about 60 years old.
60 years old.
Yeah, it's not the oldest building in our district, but it's up there. We've got 3 that are actually in their 90s, but that's kind of the phase 3 piece of this.
So what are you looking forward to? What's going to be different with all this referendum money that's going to be used to build a school? So
the nice thing is we'll have more natural light in the building. The Maplewood building currently is very closed off. We only have lighting on one side of the building pretty much. And the classroom spaces also are not big enough to handle our current groupings of classes and such that we have in there, so we could use some more classroom space in the building, more common instructional spaces, better areas for us to provide co-curriculars and extracurricular opportunities for those students that would be coming to that school from 5th grade, as well as for the 6th graders.
From a financial standpoint, Brian, did you have any concerns about asking for a referendum of this magnitude in this economy?
Yeah, I think we look at that concern all the time. We did look at the option of remodeling the current building. That came out to be about $6 million less than the $99.7 million. And we just didn't feel like that was the right option for the price differential. We're getting a building that's going to suit our needs to the T versus adding on and just kind of trying to force our makeup into that building.
Yeah, tough to remodel a 60-year-old
Right.
building for all the codes you would have to meet with today. Does the plan include any security issues for that school?
Certainly. Every one of our schools is set up that way. You know, and a lot of the security, attention to security and safety over the years, we've done what we can in each of our buildings to make them as safe and secure for our students as possible. This school, will certainly, the planning will involve the best security we can put in place, making sure we have double entries into our office space, and also being able to close off certain areas of the building in case of any type of emergency situation.
So Chris, you've been with the district for how long now?
10 years.
10 years. In the time you've been there, and even before, and Brian, you probably went to school there.
No.
You're young enough.
Yeah.
What, in the grand scheme of things, how long has it been since you've had a referendum, not necessarily of this magnitude, but a sizable referendum?
Sure. So we had a referendum in 2013, the spring of 2013, that was for about $30 million. And that referendum was to remodel and add on to the existing high school structure. At that time, we also considered building completely new on that site versus the remodeling and building. The difference was closer to 20 million at that point in time, so the voters at that time chose to say, let's look at the remodel and additions, and that turned out terrific at Menasha High School for us. But that was about 10 years ago.
All right, we continue with the Menasha School referendum right after this break, so please stay with us.
When Eric Toney's office botched a case, telling a judge that a 9-time felon didn't have much of a record, that 9-time felon got low bail, and less than 2 weeks later, killed a firefighter. Eric Toney's unfit to be Attorney General.
Think crime is bad now? Mandela Barnes would make it worse. Barnes would eliminate cash bail even after the Waukesha Christmas parade attack, supports amnesty and sanctuary cities for illegals, and had worked for a radical group that wants to defund the police. Barnes has a long record of smearing police while spending your tax dollars on security for himself. Mandela Barnes, wrong on crime, dangerous for Wisconsin. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We have big dreams for them. Health, success, happiness. But no matter the dream, it starts right here. So when Tim Michael says he'd consider abolishing the Department of Education and calls funding our public schools the definition of insanity, that he would take millions of dollars from our public schools and fund private schools in Milwaukee, he's not just threatening our dreams, but everything we hope they'll dream of, too.
Wisconsin, are we better off under Tony Evers? Our cost of living has skyrocketed. Evers has proposed painful tax increases and tried to raise the gas tax by 20%. Wisconsin is also less safe because Evers' parole board released hundreds of murderers and rapists early. Victims' families weren't even notified. And many of those criminals committed crimes again. Wisconsin, Tony Evers has failed. It's time for him to go.
When Eric Toney's office botched a case, telling a judge that a 9-time felon didn't have much of a record, that 9-time felon got low bail, and less than 2 weeks later, killed a firefighter. Eric Toney's unfit to be Attorney General.
And we are back now with Chris Vanderheiden, Superintendent of Menasha Schools, and District Business Manager Brian Adesso. The referendum, as you mentioned, calling for tearing down Maplewood Building, replacing it with a new facility that, and you mentioned this earlier, it would replace 2 schools with different grades. So what grades are involved, and how does that 2-school proposal meet your needs?
Sure. So first of all, our middle school kind of operates as a middle school in name only right now. We really want to focus on having that middle school setting for our 7th and 8th grade students. And part of that is the teaming, the house concept, where they get to be part of a school family, if you will, where it's easier for us to meet their social emotional needs, but it also works in the favor of building relationships between our students and our teachers, which is a key part to being successful in education. For our 5th and 6th grade students, our 5th grade currently operate in an intermediate elementary type of a setting. Our 6th grade are more of that junior high model, and we feel they'll be more successful in more of an intermediate elementary model. With that being said, having some additional opportunities available for those 5th and 6th grade students because of their location in that facility.
In the 10 years you've been there, and Brian, for the time you've been with the district, is there an overcrowding problem here?
There is at our Maplewood Middle School.
Yeah.
So its capacity is right around 630 is where we're supposed to be. And for the past several years, we've been around 750 or higher. So overall, the district is declining, but in our Maplewood, we don't have enough capacity.
So now that's interesting. You say overall district is declining, and yet what is it, a certain section of town that where Maplewood is that the enrollment is increasing?
It's mainly that grouping of students that are coming through there right now. So we still have one of our bigger classes coming through Maplewood right now, but over time, as Brian said, that building has been just busier. And again, the reality is it wasn't built to house as many students as we've been putting in there.
It seems like with most valley communities, that place is growing like crazy down there.
Sure.
And it seems as though Menasha, along with the rest of them, just the school district and the students grew a lot faster than the facilities could handle.
Sure. Well, I think one of the common issues across Wisconsin is declining enrollments. We're seeing that across the state of Wisconsin with a couple notable outliers right in our area. Actually, Kimberly and Greenville both seem to be having some populations that continue to grow. But overall, that declining enrollment piece is something that we need to address by also being more efficient with our buildings, and that's part of this adding 5th grade to that facility so that we have a larger facility overall, but also with more space for the kiddos that go there. But that will set us up nicely for phase 3 of this and the capacities that we'll need to have at our elementary schools.
So was that the driving force behind this referendum, this notion of increased student population in that particular area?
So some of it was the enrollment changes, some of it is just meeting the needs of the various demographic groups that we have in our district, and some of it was just sheer not having the space in that building to do what we feel we need to do academically.
So with what you're doing at Maplewood, is that going to impact other schools in the Menasha School District?
It will eventually when we move to phase 3. So once we get this built and we get moved into it, then we will take a look at how can we better meet the needs of our students in hopefully fewer buildings than we're currently using in the Menasha Joint School District. So we're hoping to become more efficient overall.
You've mentioned phase 3 a couple of times here. What's phase 3? Is this a future plan?
Yes, so phase 3 again hasn't been fleshed out. It would just be that next conversation, right? So the high school we kind of consider the high school as phase 1. There were a group of folks that got together then and said, what should education in Menasha look like as we move ahead? Phase 1 was let's do something about the high school. We got back together. Phase 2 now has kind of become let's take care of this middle school and go with this 5, 6, 7, 8 model. Phase 3 will be taking a look at what are our exact needs at the elementary level and how do we best address those.
The Menasha School referendum question coming up on Tuesday. We have much more on the topic after this. Stay right there.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
Eric Toney wants the power to prosecute as Attorney General, and Toney already said he'd support the prosecution of doctors and nurses who provide abortion care. Toney supports the law that criminalizes abortion and makes it a felony, with no exceptions for rape or incest.
As your Attorney General, I will enforce that ban.
Putting doctors and nurses in jail to impose his extreme agenda. Toney is too dangerous for Attorney General.
Breaking news in Dallas, Texas, where at least 5 police officers were killed when they were ambushed.
This was the deadliest day for U.S. law enforcement since 9/11.
Just days after this horrific crime, Mandela Barnes appeared on Vladimir Putin's propaganda news outlet and rationalized violence against American police officers.
Police officers are over-exercising their badges. This probably was a retaliatory attack.
Do you want Mandela Barnes representing you in the Senate?
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
In Wisconsin, we depend on 2 separate groups to protect us, police and prosecutors. Wisconsin's top cop, Josh Call, doesn't care about either. Milwaukee police say he's put public safety at the bottom. Call cut funds for the crime lab and officer training. He even gutted the state prosecutor's offices, gutting the office that puts violent criminals in jail. Attorney General Josh Call. Criminals get off easy. You pay the price.
We are back now with more on the Menasha School referendum question. Brian, as the finance guy, I'm sure you've heard this question before from your voters in Menasha in the district. What's this thing going to cost me?
Yeah, and what we've been telling people is that our mill rate will stay the same. So our mill rate right now is $11.68. But I don't think that's really the question that the taxpayers are asking. They want to know how it's going to affect our tax bill. And to really get down to how the tax bill is, there's 3 main components of the tax bill for the school portion. There's the fair market value that tracks very closely to assessed value. There's the school levy tax credit, and then there's the mill rate. So the fair market value and the levy tax credit are controlled by the Department of Revenue, where the mill rate is controlled by us. So if your house value goes up, your fair market value is most likely going to track higher. So when you multiply those out, you would end up paying more in taxes. But the school portion that we are controlling is going to stay the same. So $11.68, we're not asking for any more money. If someone's paying more, it's because their house is worth more.
Yeah. What's happening there in Menasha? How are you able to keep that mill rate the same?
So we're able to do that because we did pass a referendum 10 years ago. We've been very aggressive at paying down that debt. We've saved the taxpayers about $6 million in interest savings. And by using that strategy, we're able to bring on this project and without an increase to the mill rate.
What kind of a timeline are we looking at this for Maplewood Middle School?
So as the construction, so when we get permission from our voters on Tuesday to go ahead with the borrowing, we'll get that going. We already have a meeting set up for the next week to start with the planning and the specific plans and getting things going forward. Our hope is to start construction within the next 9 months to a year and then have the building completed by the fall of 2025. So we're able to move in at that point in time.
So 9 months to a year, soon after the vote, you're hoping to get things going. So what happens to the Maplewood students in that time period? Where will they go?
Yeah, it's a nice part about doing a completely new building on that location. We can still maintain our school at Maplewood throughout the construction project. Once the building is built, we'll move those students into the new building, and then we'll tear down the old building.
Okay, so there are no issues with that old building as far as safety or security or what have you, just another school day while your new facility gets built.
Correct. If we go back to the 10 years ago, the high school, we kind of built that one while we were flying it. So we had to move kids from one area of the building to the next, and then when the new addition was built, we moved children in there. And so that was a lot more moving around and back and forth. In this case, we won't have that issue.
Some of these kids are going to be in heaven, you know, going from a 60-year-old school and walking into this brand new, beautiful facility.
It'll be a nice facility, and I think we saw with our high school, again, that's the one we can refer back to. Students really appreciate it and still do, just the very nice facilities they have to learn in, and I think it improves their demeanor, it improves their attitude toward learning, and it also helps our, can put our teachers in a spot where they can be as effective as possible.
And I got to believe you've had parents and grandparents who have gone to the 60-year-old school.
Oh, yeah. Yes, several of them, and that's nice. We've had opportunities for people to come in. We've given tours of the building during the school day as well as after school for folks to come in and see, and some have commented, oh yeah, I remember this hallway, or I remember this piece or that part. So yeah, there's still some good connections in town with Maplewood.
Yeah, I can still show you where they put the gum back there in 1947, yeah. We're back to wrap up after this. Please stay with us.
The lessons I learned growing up in Brownsville still ring true today. Work hard, take responsibility, and do your best. But that's not happening with Tony Evers. Evers released Wisconsin's worst criminals, killed jobs, paid people not to work, and he let so much more go up in flames. I'm Tim Michaels. It's time to stop the madness. As governor, I'll take the values I learned here and put them to work for Wisconsin.
Tim Michaels for governor.
Mayor Lori Palmieri is on the job for us in Oshkosh, lowering costs for working families, strengthening our schools, and keeping politicians out of our personal health care decisions. We can trust Lori Palmieri to keep fighting for us in Madison. We can't trust Donnie Herman. Herman will vote with extreme Republicans who want to take away our freedoms, defund our schools, and sell us out to the special interests. Donnie Herman is not on our side.
Wisconsin, are we better off under Tony Evers? Our cost of living has skyrocketed. Evers has proposed painful tax increases and tried to raise the gas tax by 20%. Wisconsin is also less safe because Evers' parole board released hundreds of murderers and rapists early. Victims' families weren't even notified, and many of those criminals committed crimes again. Wisconsin, Tony Evers has failed. It's time for him to go.
You've heard what women say about working at Tim Michaels' company, that they were groped.
A male superior groped the crotch and inner thigh of a female employee
and pressured to have sex with their bosses. And now we know more. According to an attorney involved in the case, when the only woman on a Michaels road crew was sexually harassed on the job, the company did not take it seriously. From the top down. From the top down. If that's how Tim Michaels runs his company, how do you think he'd run the state?
We are back now with Chris Vanderheiden and Brian Adesso from the Menasha School District. During the commercial break, we were talking about the fact that you've given tours to people of the old school, the 60-year-old school. And some of the stories are comical here. What were you hearing from the older folks who came through?
Yeah, just, a lot of people saying, oh, I remember that was my locker, or this is where I had class with Mr. So-and-so, and are they still here? Well, no, they've retired several years ago. But, just, again, people have good fond memories of the buildings, so.
And I got to figure after that much time, they've got to be pretty much on board with what you're asking for here in this referendum.
It feels that way. We did some survey work prior to putting the referendum out to just see what would the appetite be in the community, and really had a strong response to that. About 68% of our folks said, yes, we're in favor of what you folks are proposing, and kind of gave us the nod to go forward with the referendum.
You had mentioned before we even started the show today, you were mentioning this is a very much a different election cycle, because nowadays we have pre-voting, we've got absentee ballot, and the election cycle really begins not just on election day, but months before. So you've had to start this process of selling this thing a long time ago.
Right, and our team that we work with has done a fabulous job of helping us get together promotional materials, getting dates on the calendars for opportunities to get in front of people. Brian and I have both gotten in front of large groups of people in town, different groups, the Rotary, the folks at the Senior Center, folks who work for our Chart Worlds organization and our food service program, to give a chance to give them the information, as well as for them to ask questions of us. We've done a couple different mailers to every household in the district. And we have a ton of information available on our website, on the National Joint School District website.
So you've done the mailers, you've done an awful lot of sessions, more than I even thought you would have done. At these sessions, what are people asking you? Or are they just watching your presentation and just nodding their heads?
Yeah, a lot of them are asking several of the questions we covered today, actually. Why the cost? Did you consider remodeling and adding on? That's been a pretty common question, and we've been able to answer that was a big part of the discussion. I know the cost piece is certainly a big one. It's kind of tough sometimes to believe you can do this for no additional cost on that, or no additional change in that mill rate. And that is the result of the great work that Brian and his team have done. We've been very financially responsible in terms of paying off this previous loan and borrowing, but also I would say we've really tried to not always go to the taxpayers. We did the work at Calder Stadium and Bayer Field as a private public fundraising effort. We raised $4 million, did all of that work, not putting it on the back of the taxpayers. So really trying to make sure our taxpayers know we're taking good care of their money, and this situation, by being responsible, saving the taxpayers $6 million, has put us in a position to be able to handle this referendum and do so and pay it down aggressively, again, moving forward.
I know you've done an awful lot of work preparing for this, but it also seems that it was a relatively easy sell, because you're talking about a 60-year-old building.
Yeah, that does help with it. And again, we do have some buildings that are older, but the reality is this building does not meet our needs anymore, though we would like it to, and that's what we're asking for folks to approve on Tuesday, and hope that we'll get very busy the following week doing some planning.
And you still have money in the budget enough to take care of all your other schools insofar as maintenance and anything that they may need.
Yep. Yeah, we're in good shape that way right now.
You've got a website. What's the website, and how can people find more information about this?
So
www.k12.wi.us.
All right. You mentioned Phase 3. How much can you tell me about Phase 3?
Very little, unfortunately, because Phase 3 really is we'll call people together again. We want folks to have input on this. This can't be the Chris Vanderheiden plan, right? It's got to be the folks in Menasha. What is it we want for our elementary students at that level? So Phase 3 will be to be determined, but we look forward to finishing up this project and then moving on to that and doing the planning for that as soon as we can.
So is Phase 3 at all contingent upon the passing of Phase 2?
We'll still need to consider that, but certainly they will impact one another.
In all the sessions that you've been having, and you've had, entertained a lot of people, taken a lot of questions, given a lot of information, in general, what were you hearing from people as far as, are they on board with you on this?
Overall, I would say yes. We've had a very positive response. Brian's very active in the community. I'm very active in the community. As we're talking to folks, we're getting a lot of, hey, love the plan you're doing. We voted. We got people who have said, already submitted my votes. You got 2 yes votes from us. So just a lot of positive. Certainly we have some folks who are concerned if they're on a fixed income. They're concerned about tax levels, as we all are. I don't want to pay more taxes either. But they also see that we've established, there's a need for this. We need to address the facilities that our kids go to school in, and they feel like the plan is well thought through. So.
Now this plan, this new Maplewood school, tell me what's inside there? If I'm a parent and I walk in, is there a gymnasium? Is there a swimming pool? Is there a computer area? What's What's the cool stuff in there?
Sure, no swimming pool, just to be clear, yeah, no swimming pool.
Okay.
But certainly there'll be a large gym space. We'll certainly encourage to have that as a space that can be used by our community as well as our school. We'll have classroom spaces, we'll have offices separated for the 5th and 6th graders and the 7th and 8th graders. So again, those learning spaces will be separated, but there'll be shared spaces between them in terms of common library space, common modern gym spaces, as well as technology education classrooms, family consumer ed like cooking, sewing, sales, marketing, those type of courses, business courses that we do within that. That's kind of a large umbrella of courses. So again, we hope to have, that's where it comes, that's where those additional opportunities potentially for 5th and 6th grade students will come into play.
This has to help those kids, the little kids especially, from a socialization standpoint, having 5, 6, 7, and 8 all together, because I'm sure we all remember as kids when we were in junior or in elementary school, you get out of that grade 6 and then you had to go to the new school, which was 7th grade with the big kids. So this is going to, I think, probably help them out. I got about 2 minutes left, and I want to give you your opportunity, both of you, to talk to the voters and tell them why they should pass this referendum in Menasha.
All right. You want to go first? All right. So again, I just say we spent a lot of time talking with folks, including community, including parents, including staff members. Our goal certainly is to put the best facilities forward for our students in Menasha and make sure we can provide the best education for them. We've got a great team of educators who are going to work hard every day to do that. By supporting this referendum, it just puts us in a position to do that work and also to take care of Menasha facilities, Menasha school facilities for years to come. Once we get through what we would call phase 3 of this, our facilities should be in great shape for years and years to come. So we're hoping people will be supportive of us and understand that we're going to continue to do great things for their students on a regular basis.
Ryan, what's the financial guy say about that?
Well, we think we're getting a great deal. When we looked at what we paid for the high school project, if we would be doing that project right now, it'd be well over $100 million. So 99.7 seems like a lot, but in retrospective, it's right on par where we are. I think we're getting a good value. I think with geothermal, we're going to get a 10-year payback. So that helps out. With the house structure, I think we're trying the best that we can to future-proof the school. So we'll have it set up for solar panels in the future and all that.
All right, Brian, Chris, thanks so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this program, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7. Until then, have a great day.